Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with, Loren Maazel's Cleveland recordings on Sony. Now, this latest box is kind of a curate's egg, as they say in England. It's got good things, it's got not so good things. It has 15 CDs. There's some strange things, but here's the point. It is largely, but not entirely, redundant. And it's one of those things that sometimes labels do that just is unaccountable. Because originally, you may recall, we talked about this, Sony released this thing, Loren Maazel Great Recordings. Actually, I reviewed it on ClassicsToday.com. If you're an insider member, there are some sound samples there. You can go and read that review and listen to this sucker. But this had, let's put it this way, when a label says it's a box of great recordings, that it's every bit of junk that they had sitting around on the library floor. In other words, it's just everything they all scrabbled together and stuck it in. But they actually made some sort of choices about what would be in and what would be out. So not everything that is in here is in here, but most of it is. And so if you're looking, if you got this for some strange reason, there's no accounting for taste. No, some of it was, I have it. I can't be hypocritical, can I? If you got this, you really don't need this, I don't think. But we're going to go through it anyway. And we'll talk about the things that are in here that are also in here. So you'll know exactly where you stand, which is just important because these things just keep coming. And, Maazel's tenure in Cleveland was he was always bumpy. He was a cold and strange man, evidently. That's what I'm told. I only met him once, just to shake hands, that sort of thing. But, you can tell from his interpretations that his emotional character was somewhat reptilian. He could be just amazing. He was a conductor of amazing technical gifts. He never missed a cue. He had fabulous control of the orchestra. But every so often, he would be getting to some passage which you think is going to open up and be interesting, and he would do something odd, but rigid. It would either be too fast or too slow or too something or mechanical, or there was this cold-bloodedness to the way that he conducted sometimes that was really strange, and there is evidence of that here. So let's go through this, and you'll see what we have in mind. Okay, so we have a little bookie, and we have some original jackets, it looks like. Yes, they are original jackets. But I think it might be easiest if we just go through the track listing here. Yeah, it probably is easiest. So CD number 1 is Maazel at the Blossom Music Festival. And we've got Berlioz, Roman Carnival, the Brahms Academic Festival Overture, Barber, the School for Scandal, and the Brahms First Symphony. These are good performances. They are really good performances. It's kind of a grab bag. They're fun to listen to. I enjoyed them. The sources for this CD were the original broadcast tapes from the Cleveland Orchestra archives. Unfortunately, their quality was compromised. Although we have done our best to eliminate the background noise, there is still a certain amount of humming and buzzing. Yes, there is. The tape containing a conversation with Loren Maazel has not survived, so we decided to compile this CD of orchestral recordings only. This is from 1971 and 72, and like they said, the sound is... So, it's this stuff was not in here, by the way. So that's the beginning. Then we get into the more sort of normal stuff. One of the issues with Maazel's Cleveland recordings that everybody complained about was their sound, quite frankly. It's interesting because, Sell in Cleveland never got the best sonics either, but it seemed to have been less of an issue than it became later, because people's expectations were higher when we got to the 70s for what really good stereo recordings could sound like. And especially the American labels were never all that fabulous. I mean, they made some good sounding records. They did. I mean, they could. The pressings were usually lousy. And so sonically, there were sometimes issues. First up is Ein Heldenleben. Well, Maazel, one of the issues with Maazel is that, among many, is that he conducted the same repertoire over and over again with every label under the sun. He did Strauss with RCA, he did Strauss here, he did Strauss with Strauss. Every label, has duplicative stuff with him. And so, and he was never that compelling that anybody would feel obligated to go digging around through this. It's not like Furtwängler, where you listen to 500 recordings of the same thing, from concert recordings, wherever you can get your hands on them. He's not that kind of conductor. He doesn't have a cult. So he's just got lots and lots of duplication. This is a very good Ein Heldenleben. It's very well played. Zell didn't record it. That's probably why they did. Okay. I enjoyed it. I had it on LP. It doesn't sound bad. I mean, the remasterings here are good. Generally speaking, things sound better than they used to. But there you go. Then we've got the Beethoven cycle. So you get all the symphonies, lots and lots and lots of symphonies, with the Egmont Overture and Leonore No. 3 and Fidelio. And, they're really pretty good. I mean, the 7th is very good. Some of them are not so good. But the real difference, I think, when you listen to these performances, people say that, the orchestra still had the same discipline that they had under Zell, who did one of the most amazing Beethoven cycles ever. And that is true. They say with an extra degree of warmth to the strings. Yeah, I don't really notice that so much. But if you listen to things where you can make a really useful A-B comparison, such as the coda to the finale of the Eroica, and you've got, which is amazing, right? It's one of the most amazing things Zell did. It's crazy, presto fast, with extraordinary virtuosity from the brass section, and it's just amazing. Well, here he goes into reptile mode, and it's weird. It's very, very, it's not that fast. It's incredibly mechanically precise. It's rather rigid in tempo, clipped in articulation. You hear everything. It's incredibly transparent, but there's no rush of excitement there whatsoever. The 7th, on the other hand, is very good. So 5, 6, and 7 generally are very good. There's so much good playing in these things, but it's when he intervenes. And that's just one example. There aren't that many here where things go strange. I mean, there really aren't, but he just seems to focus on odd things at odd times. That's all I could say. I'm not going to get into it in any further detail. It's not a bad Beethoven cycle, not by any stretch of the imagination, but it has elements where he goes into his lizard-like thing, and it's weird. Then we have more Strauss. Okay. So that covers like most of what's in here, actually. By the time you get done with Ein Heldenleben, the Beethoven cycle, and that first broadcast disc, you're already up to CD 10 out of 15. And the Beethoven cycle is in here, by the way. Is Ein Heldenleben? Let me just check. I think it is. Yes, Ein Heldenleben is also in here. And the sonics aren't so different that it makes any difference. So there you go. Strauss, let's see, Don Juan, Till, Eulenspiegel, Death and Transfiguration. He recorded this stuff before, but these are good. These are really good performances. And, Till Dawn Death was something that Zell did. And this, I don't know if I may like these even better. I really do. I mean, Don Juan is exciting as hell. 16 minutes and 26 seconds. Yeah, that's the way to do it. And let's see if they are in here. They are not in here. So this is one of the good things that's in here that you don't find in this other box. Symphonie Fantastique. Another very fine performance. It really is. And I think it's in here. Yes, it is in here. So it's already there. Surprisingly good, with a surprisingly passionate and whipped up finale. You'd never think. Of course, he remade it for Telarc. I mean, so it's like, oh gosh, not again, right? There's more. Then CD 12. This is really weird. Les Petites Femmes de Pigalle. This is a French Jacques Brel type guy who wrote songs, a boulevardier. Well, he wasn't really, but, Maazel fell in love with him and made symphonic arrangements of his songs. And this is it. And it was never released anywhere but in France, apparently. I mean, the person who did the songs was, this guy's name's Lama. His name was Lama. What was his first name? I don't even remember. Let's see, a complete cycle of symphonies. Where's the Lama thing? Curiosity. Yes, Sergio. I kept thinking it's Serge Lama. So that was the Serge Lama song arrangement disc, which is okay. I mean, it's Serge Lama song arrangements. I didn't know Serge Lama, and I didn't mind hearing them. I don't know if you'll care, but there they are. Then we get Tchaikovsky 4, 5, and 6. Maazel always did good Tchaikovsky, right? He recorded a whole cycle with Vienna, which was fairly well received in its day for Decca. And then he did 4 again on Telarc, and some of them on other labels as well. I mean, they were just all of them all over the place. And they're good. They're very good. They're exciting. They're really well played. He doesn't do anything grotesque. I enjoy them. His 4th on Telarc was really good. I mean, this one doesn't sound that good, but it's very well played. So there's that, and that's it. Oh my. Is that it? That is it. Yeah, that's the whole deal. So these, let's check over here. Tchaikovsky 4, 5, 6. Here they are, already in this box here. So you get, let's see, you get the Beethoven cycle, right? You get the Berlioz, you get Ein Heldenleben, and you get Tchaikovsky 4, 5, 6. So out of the 15 discs that are in here, you get, 10 of them, 11 of them already in here. That's the ludicrousness of this entire exercise, frankly. But there you go. I mean, it's typical major label stuff. It sort of floors me that Sony BMG is spending time doing and redoing this guy, who was a major conductor. He did great work, but he did it for everyone, everywhere. And he's been very well documented. There was a DG box of his early recordings. There was the Decca box of all the Cleveland recordings, which is mostly terrific. That's the best of his Cleveland stuff, by and large. And there have been RCA boxes of his RCA stuff. So they could be doing so much else that deserves to see the light of day, instead of just another Loren Maazel box. But I guess they did it because they could. It's a cocaine hippo. That's what this is. It's a box of stuff they did because they could, not because they should or needed to. Right? So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.